is up, YouTube? We are back and we are working on the Mamalona. Today we are gonna do the 4-link in the rear. If you haven't seen my latest video, I did go ahead and lower the front end. I did go ahead and do a torsion bar to coilover conversion, which pretty much deletes my torsion bars and I get coilovers in the very front. And I did pretty much refresh literally almost all the front end suspension and steering components. As you can see, the front end is looking all nice and pretty and that rear end isn't it. And this is where my 4-link comes into play. So this is what we're going to be doing to lowering our rear end. So what I got here is my Viking Coilovers. We got our underbed notch and this little bar running across is where the coilovers are going to be mounted to. And we got our parallel links right here. We got another bar that's gonna go across the frame. We got a bunch of mounts and brackets and hardware and bushings. I'm not gonna lie, I am super intimidated about doing this. I've never done something this major into welding and cutting and measuring onto a vehicle, so this will be my first time doing anything like this. So if I do something that's not supposed to be doing the right way, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here to learn. And the best way to learning is doing it yourself and trial and error. The good thing is I know how to weld, so that's a good thing. So this is pretty much all mostly weld on. I don't have the best welder, but this thing does the job. But enough of me yapping, let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. And to start off, we're gonna go ahead and take off the bed and the rear bumper. You don't necessarily need to take off the rear bumper, but I think it makes it a lot easier to take off the bed once you're lifting it. And I have another bumper to put on anyway, so this is a perfect time to do so. Okay guys, so rear bumper is off, and man, this thing looks so exposed without the rear bumper. Next thing I'm gonna do is take off all the bolts that hold on the bed, and I'm gonna take off the bolts for the filler neck right here. And I think that should be it. Oh, also disconnect the connections right there. Okay, so this bed is pretty much ready to come out. It is pretty much 8 bolts just holding this bed down. All that's pretty much left is someone to come help me take this bed off because it is super heavy. All right, we're back working on the Silverado. I'm gonna get help to take off the bed from these two.
2. What do you mean, buddy? I count as 3.
Oh, he's doing it by himself.
Yes, I record this. This is what not to do.
So bed is finally off. Shout out to my buddies. But man, I'm just looking at this and I just know I'm gonna procrastinate really bad on this stuff. I really just want to sand the whole thing down and give it a fresh coat of paint because it has seen better days. But for now, I kind of just want to take off stuff that I'm not going to need, like that spare tire thing. I'm never going to use that, so I want to take it off. And I also want to take off the bump stops. Okay, so I have the C-notch kind of laid out and mocked up how it's going to go. So pretty much I put it up against the frame. And then pretty much right here, going to trace that out. I'm going to cut that out. And then weld that other part that's shaped like this, and then that's pretty much our C-notch. Then right here, this rod is going across right here. That's gonna be for our shock to mount to. And the leaf spring is pretty much gonna be fully deleted, and there are gonna be some mounts over here and over here that are gonna run my 2 links on each side. So there's gonna be so much cutting and welding and measuring. But I kind of don't know what I want to start first. If I want to go ahead and start and take off the leaf springs, or cut out the C-notch. So I have decided to go ahead and take off the leaf springs first and cut out the leaf spring brackets right there and right there. Okay guys, I got my leaf springs off and my shocks off. Just make sure you have this jacked up, the frame, because it will come crashing down. Ask me how I know. Next thing I'm gonna do is cut off the brackets for the leaf springs because we don't need those no more. And also I'm gonna take off part of my exhaust. I think I'm gonna chop it up right there because it is gonna interfere. Okay, so I got 3 out of the 4 so far. This is how it's looking. I also got my exhaust chopped off right there. But man, those things are a pain to take off. The only one I have left is this one, but my batteries did die. As you can see, I did start 2 of them right there. Also too, I'm most likely gonna probably drop the tank to get it out of the way, also so I could grind off and sand down that and give it a fresh coat of paint. I'm gonna call it a day for maybe today, or maybe I'll start it back later, but today is Easter and I'm gonna go have some time with my family, so I'm gonna call this a day for now. Alright, it's the next day and we're back on working this. I almost have this off. I just needed, I think, 2 more rivets on that side to take off the last bracket for the leaf spring, but the filler neck hose is kind of in the way, so I'm gonna go ahead and just drop my tank. I was gonna do this anyway because the tank is in the way of some metal and I really want to sand down the metal really good and give it a fresh coat of paint. So my gas tank is off. I did go ahead and get my last bracket off, and there's also this another bracket right underneath that one. I took that one off as well. The other one is still on. You see it right there. Now I'm just trying to vision this, where this is gonna be. So if it needs to go all the way back or like right in the middle, or I'm trying to see that. But for me to do that, I got the link over there. See how far it travels. This is adjustable too as well. But I'm trying to see like where is it at right here. But for me to do that, to connect that side, I need to get that on, and for it to fit flush, I need to cut this piece off right here. Okay, well, I got that piece off. It's in pieces, but I got it off. And I also have my 2 links mocked up right here, going over there. Nothing is welded on or tacked yet. Everything is just mocked up. I need to do a lot of measurements to see where I want this exactly, how far in, how far back I want this, or forward and stuff like that. But it is getting there slowly but surely. It's not hard, but it's so time consuming just cutting all the metal you need to cut, and there's still so much more I need to cut. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this side, so I'm gonna need to cut that piece off and finish cutting that piece off over there. So I finished cutting this side, and I got this side in the current state. That side is in. Now I'm just kind of playing with the fitment. This thing is actually coming out pretty good. I have yet to do welded or tack or anything. Pretty much just grind, cut, and mock up for now. But it is time to start cutting the frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the C-notch. You guys are confused on where to place these. Use those 2 bolts as a reference point. That's where the stock bump stop used to be located, so pretty much your reference point is right in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace that out and cut it. I got this traced out. Once I cut this, there's no going back. Yeah guys, no going back now. Alright, my goal before it gets dark is to sand this down, give it a fresh coat of paint, just a section, and weld that on. I got my section right there to bare metal, and I gave it a fresh coat of paint. Now time to get that on and get it welded. Alright, so last night got pretty dark, but I got this side fully welded. Right here is where I first started, so it looks like ass. But then over here, I started messing with my machine and I started getting it dialed in. I mean, for someone that doesn't weld, that's not too bad. I mean, it almost looks like right there. Also got this side welded on and the bottom as well. Next is for me to weld the cover piece on, and I have it mocked up, ready to go right there. Also too, one of my buddies last night told me that for me to do it the right way where you won't have any errors is I would need to place these and fully weld them on and then cut it. I did it the opposite way. I traced it out and I cut it out. But you want to avoid that so you won't, so the frame won't flex on you or break in half. I do have it supported by jack stands, very level to the frame, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one the right way for better safe than sorry. Alright, so I have this side fully welded on. It came out really good, especially this side. This is where I kind of finished, and man, I'm loving how those welds came out. Now it's time to do that one the right way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that welded on and cut it out and weld my plate. So I got this fully tacked down. It's not fully welded just yet, but it is about to get dark. And before it gets dark, I want to go ahead and weld on my bar for the coilover brackets. I'm not going to fully weld it, just going to tack it down. Alright, so it's the next day and I got this tacked on. I got the sides fully welded on each side. Now let's go ahead and cut out that middle piece and get our plate welded on. So this side, C-notch is welded up, frame is cut, plate is mocked up. Now it's time to weld it. This part of the C-notch is done, so C-notch is fully complete. I got my bar fully welded on. I cut off all the things I needed to cut off the diff. I need to do a little bit more grinding and this should be good to go. I cut off the stock shock mounts right there and right there, a little bit of grinding. I'm gonna go ahead and put my wheels back on, try to center this as best as possible, and then try to mock up the... I'm gonna go ahead and put my wheels back on, try to center this as best as possible, and then try to mock up the brackets for the links. Okay, so I got this centered. Now I'm gonna try to tack weld one of the bracket ends for the links, and gonna do the same on the other side, and gonna see how that goes. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself. I got both of my brackets on for the links. I got the links on. Everything's just tacked up for now. I did run into my first issue, and that's the mount for the bed. Don't really know if a bolt is gonna go through there, but that's on for now. I got this bar in the middle all tacked up. Next thing I'm gonna do is my shocks. So I got both shocks fully welded already from the top and the bottom. As you can see, that's how it turned out in the bottom. I also got a little bit carried away and I fully welded this side already. Also the tubing right here, it's already fully welded. Coilovers fully welded. All I gotta do next is fully weld this bracket and that bracket, and the welding is done. After the welding, I'm gonna go ahead and sand this whole thing down, give it a fresh coat of paint. I have to put on my grease fittings and grease all of these. Adjust my coilovers. Put the fuel tank back on and then test drive it and see how she does, and then if it's all good, put the bed back on and see how she turned out. Doing a lot off camera because man, this thing is a process and I just want to get it done already. So this is where I'm at so far. I got the whole frame and diff painted. I'm gonna go ahead and install back the forward links and the shocks. So I got my forward links back on, I got the shocks on, I got the middle bar on, I got everything tightened down. I'm gonna go ahead and now install the Zerg fittings and grease these puppies up, and then install my gas tank. Gas tank is nice and installed and connected. My Zerg fittings on. I got the harness somewhat ran through to the best of my memory. I kind of just want to get the bed and mount it up here and see how she looks, but I need some help, so I gotta wait for that. So I got the bed on and man, this thing is looking good. I'm gonna have to either roll or cut part of the bed right there, just the lip inside so it won't tear my wheel, my tire. I still need to get the bed off and tidy up a couple things and grease the fittings because I haven't done that. I just put them on for now. And then after that, we will fully put this on. But I need someone's help to remove the bed. I don't have anyone right now. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and lower the front to match the rear. I got the bed off. Let's go ahead and tidy up some things like connect some grounds, run the wiring a little better, grease up the circ fittings, put the filler neck back on, and just raise the coilovers up just a little bit. All right, so I got a little bit carried away and I kind of forgot to record, but I got the bed back on after I lowered it. I put the tailgate back on, rear bumper on, put the connections, everything back together. And I just gave her a quick little wash to be a little more presentable. And man, this thing looks good. Also try to match the front with the rear. The front is a little higher, that's kind of maxed out. I can go a little lower, but it's good right there. The suspension settled and I'm about a 2-finger gap now. Right here, I'm like almost one. I have to like kind of angle my finger in there, but man, this thing looks good. For my first time doing something that major into a truck, I think it came out pretty good. I don't know if I did everything right, so if you see me that I did something wrong, I'm sorry. This is my first time, but the truck runs and drives. I do need an alignment and I do need to mess with my compression and rebound to make this ride a little better. It's a little bouncy. A couple trial and error and fine tuning, it should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. I appreciate all of you, and stay tuned for what's to come for this mamalona.
Thanks, it's on the beat.